Welcome to Story Focus. Here, stories come to life. We journey through captivating tales together. Whether you're here to relax, learn, or escape into another world, there's a story waiting for you. Let's dive in.
As we have seen, Socrates was concerned with finding out how man could live a good life. Both the Cynics and the Stoics interpreted his philosophy as meaning that man had to free himself from material luxuries, but Socrates also had a pupil named Aristippus. He believed that the aim of life was to attain the highest possible sensory enjoyment. The highest good is pleasure, he said. The greatest evil is pain, so he wished to develop a way of life whose aim was to avoid pain in all forms. Around the year 300 BC, Epicurus founded a school of philosophy. In Athens, his followers were called Epicureans. He developed the pleasure ethic of Aristippus and combined it with the atom theory of Democritus. The story goes that the Epicureans lived in a garden. They were therefore known as the garden philosophers. Above the entrance to this garden, there is said to have hung a notice saying, "Stranger, here you will be well. Your pleasure is the highest good." To be serious, emphasize the pleasurable results of an action must always be weighed against its possible side effects. If you have ever binged on chocolate, you know what I mean. If you haven't, try this exercise. Take all your silver pocket money and buy 200 crowns worth of chocolate. It is essential to this exercise that you eat it all at one time upon half an hour later. When all that delicious chocolate is eaten, you will understand what Epicurus mean by ethics. Epicurus also believed that a pleasurable result in the short term must be weighed against the possibility of a greater, more lasting, or more intense pleasure in the long term. Unlike animals, we are able to plan our lives. We have the ability to make a pleasure calculation. Chocolate is good, but a new bike or a trip to England is better. Epicurus emphasized how that pleasure does not necessarily mean sensual pleasure like eating chocolate. For instance, values such as friendship and the appreciation of art also count. Moreover, the enjoyment of love requires the all great ideals of self-control, temperance, and serenity. Desire must be cured, and serenity will help us to endure pain. Fear of the gods brought many people to the garden of Epicurus. In this connection, the atom theory of Democritus was a useful cure for religious superstitions. In order to live a good life, it is not unimportant to overcome the fear of death. To this end, Epicurus made use of Democritus' theory of the soul atoms. You may perhaps remember that Democritus believed there was no life after death, because when we die, the soul atoms disappears in all directions. Death does not concern us. It should said quite simply, because as long as we exist, death is not here, and when it does come, we no longer exist. Epicurus summed up his liberating philosophy with what she called the four medicinal herbs. The gods are not to be feared. Death is nothing to worry about. Good is easy to attain. The fearful is easy to endure. From the Greek point of view, There was nothing new in comparing philosophical projects with those of medical science. The intention was simply that man should acquire himself with a philosophic medicine's chest, containing the four ingredients I mentioned. In contrast to the Stoics, the Epicureans show little or no interest in politics, and the community lived in seclusion. Was it fact to Epicurus? We could perhaps compare his garden with our present-day community. There are many people in our own time who have sought a safe harbor away from society. After Epicurus, many Epicureans developed an overemphasis on self-indulgence. Their motto was live for the moment. The word Epicurean is used in a negative sense nowadays to describe someone who lives only for pleasure.